What looked to be another night of frustration for the Orange and Black turned out to be one of the biggest wins of the season as the Giants held on for a win over the D-backs in a classic that lasted 12 innings. Tonight the ball goes to Johnny Cueto as San Francisco tries to hold on to the top spot in the National League wild card and gain ground on the Dodgers. Game 2 of the series, and it's next. Another night here in the desert as we come to you from Chase Field. This is game 2 of this 3-game series, Giants and D-backs. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Alongside me is Mike Krukow. Well, a beautiful win for the Giants last night. It took over 5.5 hours, and you start to wonder how you going to get energy after you play 5.5 hours. And I guess, Mike, the one thing that you look is see who's catching.
Well, you can't be tired if the guy that caught a 5.5-hour game is back in the lineup, and that is the case tonight with Buster Posey. He is in the squad. He will be catching Johnny Cueto, and I think it means a lot to everybody, but it means a whole lot to Johnny Cueto. You think about Cueto's last start, it was against these Arizona Diamondbacks, and it was one of his worst starts of the year. He did not get out of the 5th inning. And tonight he comes into this game with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he tries to keep this streak going. So a chance to win a series here in the second game of the series. And Johnny Cueto with an attitude and posing behind the plate. Well, I like that combination.
Yeah, so all the starters in last night's game, probably a few take a day. No, it's the same lineup. Should be fun. Stay tuned. We'll take you to our CSN Bay Area studios for an update, and we'll do that right after this.
Giants Baseball on CSN Bay Area is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box. Limited time only at participating restaurants. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
You're looking outside at Chase Field. And let's take a look at our weather. Our game time weather is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is open this weekend. 103 outside, 79 inside. Humidity light, and the roof is closed. They tell us that they're going to open it up in the middle of the game. Let's take a look at the Giants lineup. It's the same lineup as last night, with the exception of hitting ninth. It'll be Span, Pagan, and Posey. Crawford will hit in the fourth spot. Then it's Pence, and you can see big night last night for Hunter Pence. Belt, Panik, and Nunez, and Cueto will hit ninth.
On the hill tonight for the Arizona Diamondbacks will be the big right-hander, Archie Bradley. Bradley, who is 24 years of age. He's 6'4", 225 pounds. This is what he has done in his 21 starts. He's 6-8 with a 4.85 ERA, 110 strikeouts against 56 walks. He's got good stuff. You're going to see a low to mid-90s fastball, more mids than lows. And 4 pitches basically, a curveball, slider, changeup. And the big thing for him is if he can get that curveball over. That is one of his big weapons against both righties and certainly lefties. Lifetime against the Giants, 0-1 in 3 career starts.
And the first pitch of the ball game is a called strike. So we get started at 5:10. Span hitting at 263, and he swings and misses, and it's 0-2. Mike mentioned Bob Davidson, Morales, Asagna, and Dale Scott from first to third.
Bob Davidson, a low ball umpire. You will get width on both sides of the plate, provided you earn it and you show him you can throw strikes early in the game.
And that's how this game gets started, with Span striking out on 3 pitches.
Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks defensively, starting in their outfield from left to right. It'll be Drury, Burrito, and Tomas. The best arm in right field with Tomas. It's a good one. Owings and Lamb on the left side of the infield. Segura and Goldschmidt on the right side. Tuffy Gozowicz, he'll be in the squad, putting down the signs.
By the way, Span 0 for 6 in the game last night. Angel Pagan 1 for 5. His one hit was a home run. And the first pitch is low and away. 277 with 10 home runs, 46 driven in for Pagan. 3 for 8 lifetime against Bradley, and 2 of those 3 hits doubles. And that pitch, a fastball at 94 for a called strike. Buster Posey to follow, just underway here in the desert. Giants D-backs, and the 1-1 to Pagan is hit sharply on the ground, but it's to the right of Segura, 2 outs. So 7 pitches into the first inning, 2 down, and here is Buster Posey. Buster last night, a frustrating night at the plate. He went 0 for 6. He hit a ball well last night, late in the game into right center field, that I thought had a chance to get out. It did not. But the importance, Buster's showing everybody the importance of this game back in the lineup. Posey out of play. 4 for 8 against Archie Bradley. Giants, their first 4 hitters last night went 1 for 22. And they won. I think that's the message.
Well,
and they won.
It's not the recipe for success. I mean, generally speaking, you want the top of your lineup to set it up and do the majority of your offense. The fortunate thing was that last night the bottom of the lineup had a great night, and they picked up the top of the lineup.
Posey wraps one into center field, and it's going to fall. So Buster Posey with his 5th lifetime hit against Archie Bradley.
Archie Bradley, a lot of fastballs, and the league likes him. 69% of the time you're going to see a fastball, but he will 2 and 4 seam it, so it's not all predictable movement. And then his curveball has always been the big what if. When nights he gets it's over, he is very tough. When he doesn't, he struggles. And the changeup complements his 3-pitch look. 4 different types of movement. If you think about the changing of the grips on the fastball.
Here's Crawford. 0 for 5 last night, hitting .268. He's had 1 hit and 5 at bats against Archie Bradley, and there's a pitch on the outside corner for a strike. It is the time of the year where you watch the scoreboard to see what's going on, and we'll do that throughout the ball game. Crawford trying to get it to Pence. 0-2.
Backed it up. Another fastball. Mid-90s right on the outside corner at the knees. And with that, the Diamondbacks put on a shift. Jake Lamb, the third baseman, comes over to the right field side.
On the ground. Side retired. Giants strand Buster Posey. So Cueto's coming out. And the lineup that'll be facing Johnny Cueto looks like this. It'll be Segura, Owings, and then Goldschmidt. Jake Lamb has torched the Giants this year. He has been a problem. Tomas, Drury, and Brito. Tuffy Gosewich is going to hit 8th, and Archie Bradley 9th.
Johnny Cueto on the hill tonight for the Giants, making start number 29. Cueto comes into this outing. He's 14 of 5 with a 2.92 ERA, 191 in the third innings, 168 strikeouts against 39 walks. Cueto, 5'11", 220 pounder. He's 30 years of age, in his 9th year at the big league level. When you take your bats against him, you're going to see a low to mid-90s fastball with 2 types of movement. He's got a curveball, a changeup, and he will cut and sink the fastball, and he'll give you 3 or 4 different windups depending on his mood. Lifetime against these Diamondbacks, he's 8-3 with a 3.23 ERA. However, his last outing against Arizona was arguably his worst outing of the year. He only went 4 2/3 and gave up 9 base runners, 5 hits, and 4 walks. And the Giants lost that ball game 4-3. So he's got a little chip on his shoulder coming into tonight's ball game.
Facing Gene Segura and a high fastball. Segura last night took an 0 for 6. He's having a good year, hitting at .313, 12 home runs, 51 driven in. And rolls this one to Panic. Panic is going to wrestle with this one a bit, but he throws him out.
Let's take a look at the Giants defensively tonight. It's a fast field, especially on the infield. But starting in their outfield from left to right, it'll be Pagan, Span, and Pence. That's your outfield. Crawford and Nunez on the left side of the infield. Panic and Bell on the right side. Buster Posey, he'll be in the squad, putting down the signs.
Great play last night by Hunter Pence. Don't know for sure, but he very well could have save the game. There's a strike to Owens. He's starting to feel like the old Hunter Pence, I do believe. Swing and a miss. Nothing in 2. Owens 3 for 8 in his career against Cueto. A couple of triples for Owens against Cueto. Last night 2 for 6. And he taps this one foul.
Hottest hitter on this D-backs team is in that batter's box right now. Seeing everything big.
More work for Panic. This time he gets a big hop.
Well, you're talking about Pence feeling like himself. He is going to touch base with everybody in that dugout. And he does it really, it starts the moment he walks in the clubhouse. But by game time, I mean, he has touched base with everybody. And just keeps him going, just keeps positive thoughts going. So important this time of year.
I love the whole interaction. Everybody's got this chopping wood, and then he gets to Bum, and it's knuckles.
Yeah, give me knuckles and a handshake. It's the North Carolina way.
Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. I was looking at the box score, Mike. Here's a number that I don't think I've ever seen before. The Giants, you know how many they left on last night? 26.
26 runners left on. Well, I mean, you set the table enough, you're going to score.
Crawford. 3 ground balls, and Cueto walks off the mound. It'll be Pence, Belt, and Panic coming up.
Bay Area is brought to you by AAA. What does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details.
No score here in the desert. Is Buster Posey's good friend Hunter Pence coming out. Hey, it worked for John.
I think you did well.
4 for 5. That's what Hunter Pence was last night. He takes a pitch down low.
Well, he knows he's hot. And when he gets hot, his hits come in bunches, and that includes home runs.
Giants scored 7 runs in the win, and Pence scored 4 of the 7 runs. He knocked in. He did not knock in a run. It was Belt, Panic, and Nunez. They did most of the damage, along with Tomlinson, as far as RBIs. High foul and out of play. Giants in that game last night had 12 hits. Arizona had 9. The 2-1. Pence taps one foul. Roberto Kelly. He will do the honors. I do believe that the game last night will be the signature game as to how the Major League Baseball is going to change the rules in September.
Well, in regards to the relief pitchers.
And Pence with a base hit to right field. Stay hot.
Stay hot indeed.
So here's Belt. Belt was on base 5 times in the game last night. He had 2 hits and he walked 3 times.
There were 18 relief pitchers in that ball game last night.
Yep.
18.
And if you count Guerin twice, 19.
Well, if you count the starting pitchers, throw another 2 pitchers in the game.
Belt with a swing and a miss. Belt against Archie Bradley has 1 hit in 7 at bats. And gets jammed on this fastball in, and it's 0-2.
Bradley coming right after him.
On deck is Joe Panic. Pence with the leadoff single. The overshift is on for Belt. This is where Belt usually gets his fair share of walks, when the count is 0-2.
Well, one thing, he hasn't seen any off-speed stuff there, just going country red. All fastballs so far.
And another one, and this one right down the middle of the plate.
Just reach back and blow. And the only way you take a pitch like that in a 2-strike count is if you're guessing off-speed stuff.
That or something flew in both eyes.
Yeah. The scene as it's indoors and there's no wind here.
Probably
you cannot have the candlestick effect.
Here's Panic. Panic 2 for 5. He takes a strike. Panic's got a little bit of ownage with a few at bats against Bradley. 3 for 6 with a home run. I'm going to call that good enough.
I'm going to say he's seeing pretty well. And that's the big thing. See the ball out of a guy's hand, you identify his spin, you got a chance.
Nunez is on deck. Giants come in 10 games over 500. They're 3-5 on this road trip. Remember, this road trip started out, it seemed like 2 months ago in Chicago. And that pitch is high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Chicago, Denver, Phoenix. The good part about scheduling it that way is each trip you're a little closer to home. Panic drives it into left center field. I don't think anybody's going to get there. And it's going to bounce off the top of the wall, and that's going to allow Pence to come in to score, and the Giants lead 1-0.
Ownage is ownage. And with all the fastballs that Archie Bradley is throwing this inning that have not been really hit very well, he throws a breaking ball, hangs it, and Panic sees it early. He waits back well in the back leg and rifles it through the opposite gap. Giants catch a break there because balls bounce into the bleachers on the left side of this field very easily.
Oh. Here's Nunez. Nunez had a couple of hits last night in 5 at-bats. He also knocked in 2 runs. With Cueto to follow. Look out. That one's at the left knee, and that would hurt. Panic with his lead. And a good swing, and this one's fouled right below us. Nunez has no history against Archie Bradley. And some people would argue that advantage pitcher, some would say advantage hitter.
And you get pretty good arguments both ways.
You can. Tight. No. Bob Davidson said he swung.
Got him on the swing.
I don't know about that one.
Hit it is Eduardo Nunez.
That would be one where,
yeah,
I might ask the umpire at first to help me out.
I think that's what Nunez wanted him to do. That swing right there is about a 50-50 when you're asking the first base umpire.
Slowly hit. It'll be Lamb. He's got to hurry, and he could not get it out of his glove. And that'll be a base hit. I bought Nunez a cappuccino at Starbucks. I said, I'll pay if you get 3 hits tonight. He said, you're on.
Okay, well, there's one. And this right here is a bit of good luck if you're Eduardo Nunez. Jake Lamb could not make the exchange. He couldn't get a grip.
That's a cappuccino hit.
I like that. But it also was 4-1 down the first base line from the right side.
Well,
so he was sniffing another cappuccino tomorrow.
Here's Cueto. Cueto is 6 for 60. And he takes a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. You watch Cueto as he stands in the box, and he looks like he's playing wiffle ball in the backyard.
Absolutely. Relax as he can possibly be.
Well, where am I going to hit this? Where am I going to bunt this? And there's a strike.
Pura vida.
Blowing bubbles. Checking to see where the defense is. He has been a great ad.
He really has. In the clubhouse, on the plane, on the field, and certainly on the mound. And Paul Goldschmidt is crashing hard.
I know, and Cueto keeps looking at him.
Cueto not easy to double up. I mean, if he does bunt the ball to Goldschmidt and they do get panic at first, unlikely they would get Cueto at first because he does run well.
Bradley makes a nice play. He made a nice play because he threw to a moving target.
All right, time now for our Cold Hard Facts. It's brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Giants lead the majors this season with 51 games decided by 1 run. They're 27-24 in those 51 games. 8 of the last 10 and 7 of the last 8 on this road trip have been decided by 1 run.
It's all part of the theme.
By the way, nice bunt, Johnny Cueto. In a 2-strike count.
Well, here's Denard Span looking for his second hit of the road trip. Struck out to open up the ball game. And he takes a pitch on the outside corner, and it's 0-1. First at bat of the trip, he doubled on the right field line at Wrigley Field. Now it's 0-2.
Bang, bang, curveball, fastball, and when you're in a funk, it just seems like the 0-2 count is something you walk into the batter's box and it's already hanging on you.
Now, the Giants have been able to do well in this regard where they get a run. What they haven't been able to do is get the next hit to make it a 2 or 3 run inning. Foul back. He came back with another fastball. 96, so he added a little.
Well, and it wasn't a great location with the 96.
Panic's double. It's given the Giants an early 1-0 lead. A hit here could add 2 more. And Span stays alive. He spoiled a pretty good pitch. A couple of injuries in the game last night. The D-backs lost their catcher Herman. He fractured a couple of fingers sliding into the second, and A.J. Pollock injured once again, and it's quite possible that those 2 guys may not see the field again this year.
I'd be surprised.
Pollock's was a groin. Got him, and that'll end the inning. So the frustration continues for Denard Span. Giants are on the board. It'll be Lamb, Tomas, and Drury coming up.
Bay Area is brought to you by Amici's East Coast Pizzeria. When you want the best pizza in town, Amici's delivers.
Padres will be at AT&T Park when the Giants get home, and that'll be the 12th through the 14th. Dynamic deal tickets for Monday and Tuesday. They start as low as $7. How about that? See a big league game for $7. September baseball, every game counts. sfgiants.com/dynamic deals. And also, just a reminder that the game on Monday, the Giants are trying to let everybody know that, yes, the 49er game starts at the same time. They will have every television within a 10-mile radius of the ballpark on to watch the Niner game if fans should choose to do that. So it'll be available for fans to watch both games if that's what they want to do.
Indeed, and we would like to wish the 49ers a great season here in 2016.
Lamb goes around. It's 1-2. Yes. Surprise us.
Ideally, for me, I'd like to see the Niners and the Raiders in the Super Bowl.
Surprise us.
That'd be awesome.
Cueto gets the sign from Posey. Target away. Got him.
See ya.
What was that pitch?
Looked like a little cutter on the backside.
Wow.
And yes, it is possible to get Jake Lamb out.
With 86-mile-an-hour something.
There's a cutter. And it was perfectly located. Just wrap it around that little outside corner.
Here's Tomas, who went 2 for 6 last night. He did make the final out of the game, which we were all pleased with. And that pitch runs inside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You may see him go on that inside corner a lot, especially early in the count tonight. To mention his last outing against these Diamondbacks, he did not have his crisp command. And that inside strike was something that was elusive to him all night.
Another ground ball to Tannick.
And another inside fastball that really ran up the bat beautifully. A two-seam movement. How does Johnny Cueto do it? Well, about 64% of the time you're going to see something hard coming at you. Fastballs and cutters. He will two-seam the fastball. And then the changeup, slider, curveball, it's, you know, he'll throw them all. And I think, you know, if you were to rate his specialty pitches, that changeup, I mean, it's a good one. League hitting .215 against it.
Drury hit a home run last night. He was 2 for 5. Played third last night. Lamb came in later on in the game. How about this? Jake Lamb's got a chance of knocking 100 runs being platooned.
Yeah. Which I think at this point in the season, I don't know why he's not playing every day.
Every day. Play him every day. There's a strike. I mean, look, the guy that plays third when he's not playing is this guy here, and he's got 11 home runs. But we've seen enough of Jake Lamb to know that he's a pretty good hitter. And you know why guys can't hit lefties? Because they don't play against lefties.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some left-handed hitters that just are never going to make the adjustment. But Lamb's what, 24, 25? 3-1 pitch. Foul back. Drury trying to tie it up. It's 3-2.
Well, I mean, when you got to the big leagues, you were a left-handed hitter. You're an everyday player. I mean, it took you a while to get your feet completely secure in the batter's box and identify stuff. I mean, but you adjusted to it.
Yeah, after a while, it didn't matter whether the guy was throwing from the right side or from the left side. And that's ball 4.
So he tries to cut him inside, misses a little high, and he gives Bob Davidson a long look. Remember, Bob Davidson, low ball guy. Johnny Cueto asked him about it, and Bob Davidson responded, and he said, hey, you're too high with it.
Socrates Brito hitting 182. He's got 3 home runs. He's got 8 runs batted in. He came in as a pinch runner in the game last night.
Staying on that inside corner.
Tries to come in again. Drury does not have a steal. He's been thrown out once. Belt. Kind of a ball that stayed down on Belt, but with that long glove, he stayed with it, and that'll end the inning. Pagan.
CSN Bay Area is brought to you by Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit hefins.com.
1-0 Giants as we head to inning number 3. Pagan, Posey, and Crawford. And Pagan, who bounced out to second, takes a call strike. And Bradley comes in with another strike, so it's 0-2.
2-pitch sequence, fastball, changeup, both identical locations.
Buster Posey is on deck. And Pagan chases this one, and he hits it high and foul down the left field line.
Today is Hispanic Heritage Day here at Chase Field. The Diamondbacks wearing the Los D-backs jerseys. Festival out in front of the ballpark, coming into the ballpark today.
And this may be playable for Lamb. No. 4 rows back.
No, they needed a ticket.
He did.
There's the Los D-backs jersey.
Yeah, they look pretty good.
They do.
Got to admit. And a base hit to left field for Pagan. Nice bat.
Well, September 15th through the 18th, Giants taking on the Cardinals at AT&T Park. That's right, St. Louis coming to San Francisco. Thursday the 15th is Italian Heritage Night, sponsored by Gelati Construction. Your special event ticket will include an Italian Giants knit beanie and a ticket to see the Giants take on the Cardinals. Go to sfgiants.com/special events.
I wonder if on that night, if your last name is Alioto, if you get in free.
You know, I think that's a good point.
I know one guy that will.
Mario Alioto, Giants senior vice president.
Maybe Kelly, his wife, the kids. Posey underneath the glove of Goldschmidt, and it's down the right field line, and it kicks away from Tomas. Buster Posey headed for 3, and he's going to make it. Pagan scores. It's 2-0. If Goldschmidt can't catch it, it's a hit.
I can't remember the last time anything went underneath his glove. I mean, the Gold Glover is just money with the leather. And he may have been surprised at this ball coming his way. Just did not get down quick enough with the backhand.
Yeah, they're going to give Posey a triple.
And I don't think Goldschmidt can believe it.
Pitched 13 innings. Add 2 more. Run the bases in the first. And then hit a triple.
That's all he needed, was to sit in the squad for 5.5 hours.
Infield is in for Crawford. Crawford drives it into left center field. And nobody's there. This will flatten out. And Crawford's going to have a double. Posey scores. It's 3-0. And as John Miller likes to say, here come the Giants.
Here come the Giants. They got 3 legs of the cycle in this inning. The first 3 guys coming up. And a lot of opposite field hitting. 3 hitters up, 3 approaches the other way. This time, Brandon Crawford backspins a ball with slice that runs away from Socrates Brito, the center fielder for the D-backs. And very quickly, Mike Butcher, who leads the league in mound visits, is out there trying to calm the waters for Archie Bradley.
That he does. The hitter is going to be Pence. Pagan, Posey, and Crawford. Single, triple, double. Here's Pence. Pence singled in the second. He had a low line drive into right field. In the dirt, nice block.
And that may have been the message from Mike Butcher. Throw some more breaking balls. Mix it up.
Crawford with his lead. Swing. Ain't gonna miss. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Another hook and a good one.
So staying with the same theme. Belt is on deck. Giants have scored twice here in the 3rd. 3-1.
Count leverage and a chance to zone in on a pitch on a location. Remember his last at bat, he hit a bullet to right field.
And the walk.
Well, time for a Togo's big play the Togo's way. Last night, Hunter Pence had a 4-hit night. Well, that wasn't the highlight of his night. How about this catch sliding in the fence? It was the second out in the ninth inning. It would have set up a tie score with a runner at third base with 1 out. And instead, he robbed Mitch Haniger of extra bags. And that was our Togo's big play the Togo's way.
Don't you worry about wedding pictures when you go face first into the fence?
You know what? You and I do. Lexi, his fiance,
Yeah.
maybe she does.
Somebody at home was.
He does not.
So here's Belt. Belt hits a high fly ball in the park to left. So Belt knew that it's likely he was going to get a fastball. He just didn't get around on it. And that'll bring up Panic.
Second baseman, Joe Panic.
Joe Panic doubled in the second. Double look to second. And Panic gets a fastball and he fouls this one back. Nunez on deck. Crawford at second. Pence at first. 2 runs in. Giants with 7 hits. Here with 1 out in the third. And another nice swing by Panic. It's nothing in 2. He's got a swing back. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he's definitely got a swing back. And when he has his swing back, the one key that sets up the good swing is the solid front shoulder. And he's very solid on that front side of his swing anyway. But when he locks that thing in, it allows him to cover the plate, drive the outside pitch the opposite way.
High and in, 1 and 2.
And he also is really dialed to his strike zone right now. And when Panic, like any other hitter, when they stay in the strike zone, good things start to happen. And that has always been one of his strengths his whole career professionally. He's got a good eye.
Nice play, Tuffy Gosowicz.
I think he took that on the right bicep too.
2 and 2.
He's a good little blocker. This is a scud breaking ball way out in front of home plate. Comes up. Does a good job of keeping that ball in front of him, and it freezes the runners. Gosowicz from the Phoenix area, went to ASU. I mean, he's a local hero.
2 and 2. See what Panic gets here. Out of play. Got a fastball away. .56 pitches for Archie Bradley with 1 out here in the third. Two balls, 2 strikes. 3 and 2.
Changeup, spits on it. Well, the way that Panic has been swinging the bat, I mean, it is an opportunity to run here on the 3-2 count with 1 out. Because if you do that and you're Bruce Bochy, I mean, you're betting on contact. And with panic right now. It's a pretty good bet.
So we'll keep an eye. Crawford, Pence. They go on the ground. 2 outs. Both runners advance. Here's Nunez.
Third baseman, Eduardo Nunez.
So first base is open. Nunez is probably not going to get a chance to swing it here. But Johnny Cueto will.
Be ready.
Be ready for a bunt.
Be ready for a ball that may leak back in the strike zone. This is one play that's being talked about right now in the negotiations between Major League Baseball and the Players Association. Basic agreement is due to expire in December, and this is one of the things they've introduced as being an idea to make the game go quicker. Just put 4 fingers up and not have to make the throws, and I don't like that at all. I mean, we saw a play where the Yankees in this situation here.
Was that today?
Yes. They were trying to intentionally walk, and I'm not sure who the hitter was.
Not sure either.
But pitcher left it out over the plate. The pitcher hit it out of the ballpark, or the hitter hit it out of the ballpark.
Hit a home run.
And we've also seen it this year earlier where pitcher tried to throw an intentional ball and he threw it over the head of everybody.
Yankee Stadium.
It was Dylan Betances who did that.
Well, here's Cueto. He had a sacrifice bunt in the second.
So bottom line, it may seem like a tedious rule, but it's not.
And Cueto looks at a strike. Bases are loaded. Base hit. They're going to hold Hunter Pence. And Cueto comes through, and it's 4-0. How about that?
I mean, we really shouldn't be surprised by it because, I mean, when he gets runners in scoring position, he changes into a different hitter. Just a nice little flat swing on a mistake fastball up above the build away. And the only thing that prevented another RBI was the reputation of Tomas and his arm in right field.
I think Johnny Cueto wanted Hunter Pence to keep going. So here's Span. Span has struck out twice. Bullpen now starting to move around for the D-backs. And Span takes wide, 1 ball and no strikes.
Yeah, 64 pitches in 3 innings. That's a lot of throws, a lot of stress throws.
And this is going to go to the backstop, and Pence is going to score anyway. So the roof is starting to cave in.
Well, that'll make Johnny Cueto happy.
You can see Archie Bradley just trying to figure it out. You know, all the great things we said about Tuffy Gosewich, that time he didn't try to block it.
Well, he kind of tried to shortstop it. He tried to. His hand was not in a great position to try and block it. And when you don't get your hand in the proper position, and that ball hits up, it oftentimes will hit the side of your glove.
Two balls and 1 strike. Span, a little pop up. Segura, can he catch it? He does. And that's going to end the inning. Giants 5, Diamondbacks nothing. Baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. Last night, bottom of the 7th, we saw a bad thing and then a good thing. Here was the bad thing. Span dropped it. Well, what does that mean? That means somebody who hit it is going to try to score. And Crawford and Posey said, I don't think so. And a great throw and a great play by Posey. And that's our greater coverage brought to you by T-Mobile.
And the play from Posey, catching the short hop one-handed and being able to keep it in the web of a catcher's glove while you're going to have contact come to your glove. And normally a play like that, you want to grab the glove with both hands, but he didn't have a chance to do that. And the fact that he was able to maintain a grip on the ball and get the out.
Well, there's a third base coach in Kansas City that saw that and said, see? That's why I didn't send him.
That's exactly right. He would have been out. There's a reason he wears a gold glove at shortstop, Brandon Crawford, and his arm is a big part of it.
Here's Gosewich. Looks like Peter O'Brien is going to. Patrick O'Brien is going to hit. Patrick Corbin is in the bullpen. Peter O'Brien is on deck. Here's Gosewich hitting 157. And the first pitch is a called strike. Here, you got a nice little lead. You can get in a good rhythm with that home plate umpire. You can get yourself a lot of strikes.
That's a big part of it. Getting that umpire looking for strikes. And the only way you do that is to throw strikes, especially early. Especially early in the count, strike one. It's so important in so many different ways, but it also gets that umpire looking for strikes.
And the 0-2 pitch is in the dirt. It's 1-2. Matt Moore against Zach Greinke tomorrow. I know, I'm getting ahead of myself. But that'll be the end of the trip. On the ground, Belt's got it. And he'll throw to Cueto. And a nice play. Not a great play, but a nice one. Really sure-handed at first, Brandon Belt.
Now they play him way off the line. And Gozowicz, in a normal, straight-up defensive alignment, I mean, that's a base hit.
Cueto's really taken a long time getting back. I think he's fine. I just think that, hey, this is warm in the desert. 103 outside, 79 inside. By the way, Greg Schulte, Tom Candiotti, the radio guys here, they're the ones that told me they will open the roof somewhere in the middle of the game. So it's on them, not me.
Well, it all gets down to the temperature. When it gets around 90, they open it up.
Here's Cueto covering the bag.
And he does a great job of getting over there. He seems to be all right. No worse to wear.
Hit foul. Remember, Cueto had to moderately run hard on his base hit to right field.
Yeah, you just can't get thrown out at first with that. That's about it. Pete O'Brien at 254 with 20 doubles and 24 homers in 105 games for the Reno Aces. He's got power.
Well, that's fine, Mike, but I'll just let you know that I hit 2 home runs in Reno. So the ball carries her a little bit.
That's right. You were a Reno Silver Sox. Your picture's still on the wall in one of my favorite establishments in Reno.
2-2.
As are all your fellow Silver Sox. Dick Tidrow. I think Dick Tidrow said he was part of Reno Silver Sox for 4 years. Then he went right to the big leagues with the Silver Sox.
They named a casino after Tidrow.
Yeah, what'd they call it?
High and deep to left. If it's fair, it's gone. And it is gone. So a pinch hit home run, and it's 5-1. That's a big fly.
You know, he's got pop. No doubt about that. He gets extended, it just jumps. Take a look at it from the high home camera. Majestic. Matt Williams like.
There's Segura. Rolled out to Joe Panik in the first. And that fastball is high. Owens to follow. Gozowicz bounced out to Belt, the home run, and it's 1-1 strike. A little bit of a quick pitch and a call strike, 1-2. Tapped to Nunez. Nunez gets rid of it quickly. Let's go to the CSN studio for a Bank of America alert. All right, thanks, Elmer. The glue.
He's the glue that holds it all together.
The glue.
Jim Cozumore, alias Elmer.
Here's Owens. Low. 1 ball and no strikes. Owings rolled out to Joe Panik in the first inning. Two and 0. This is a ballpark where it's not like Coors Field. Give up home runs, make them solo home runs.
Well, you're right. I mean, you say the same thing coming in here that you say going to the Coors Field. Don't walk anybody.
Two balls and one strike.
And the other thing you say when you come in here as an offense, add on. Don't ever sit back fat, dumb, and happy that you have a big enough lead.
What did I say? The Giants left on 26 last night. 2-2. Perfect example of they didn't add on.
And they had opportunities just about every inning, it seemed.
Two and two. Pitch number 43. And it's hit to Panik. Joe Panik will give ground, and that's going to end the inning. O'Brien hits the home run. D-backs are on the board. Pagan's going to lead things off.
On CSN Bay Area is brought to you by Bank of America. Life's better when we're connected.
It's a 5-1 lead for the Giants. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and repair experts.
Patrick Corbin, the new pitcher now for the Diamondbacks. 5-13 on the year. Started out a starter, did not work out well. Worked his way into the bullpen, or say demoted, one or the other. Anyway, he's a 4-pitch guy, low to mid-90s fastballs. He's got a cutter, slider, and a changeup. And really, right now, just trying to look for some confidence. At one time, he was the ace of the staff. That is how far he has fallen from favor.
Pagan singled in the third. That opened up the inning, and then the Giants went on to score 4 runs after that. Posey on deck. And Pagan shoots it into right field, and he's going to have a hit. All right, let's check out our CSN studio for this Bank of America alert. All right, thanks, Jim. So here's Buster Posey. Pagan comes up with his second hit. Buster's got 2 hits tonight, and he rolls this one foul.
Did you tell Elmer the rules that he needs to come up with better news than that?
Yeah, well, he's got a couple of more shots, and then he's out.
That's it. So Jim Cosmore, if you're listening, you better tighten it up, pal.
On the ground, this could be a pair. Lamb to Segura, Segura to Goldschmidt, double play.
Padres coming to San Francisco Monday. That's right, Giants into this road trip tomorrow. Monday they open up a 3-gamer against the Padres, the 12th through the 14th. Monday the 12th, you can also join us for our annual Step Up to the Plate night. Your special event ticket will include a Denard Span bobblehead and a ticket to see the Giants take on the Padres. September baseball, every game counts. Go to sfgiants.com/special events.
So with 2 outs, here's Crawford. Brandon Crawford has bounced out, and then he doubled in a run in the 3rd. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hunter Pence to follow. Good swing by Crawford, 1-2.
And with 2 strikes, they put the shift on.
And down low, so he went with the breaking ball. Crawford trying to get on for Pence. Here's the 2-2 pitch. 3-2.
So a couple of breaking balls down the dirt. Crawford not biting.
Payoff pitch. Here it is. Crawford breaks his bat. And a slow roller, and Drury will just get him. Drury chose not to charge, and it almost cost him. Although he did have the barrel of the bat coming at him as well. 5-1 Giants.
Saves became an official stat in 1969. Pitchers to record a save and play the outfield in the same game in Major League Baseball history since 1969. It would be Todd Worrell did it with the Cardinals. Roger McDowell did it with the Dodgers. And Corey Guerin did it last night. And that's our McDonald's True Stories.
Here's Goldschmidt. And that first pitch runs in tight. Goldschmidt bounced out to Crawford. Swing and a miss. Maybe got a piece. Lamb on deck. There's a strike.
Rapid fire. Johnny Cueto in a quick rhythm right now. The only thing slowing him down is Posey putting down the signs. He is in a get it go mode.
2-2.
Johnny Cueto got to the ballpark today. Had his headsets on. I mean, that's pretty standard. Then you always watch what guys do before the game, what their pregame meal is. And for Cueto, it was an enormous plate of fruit. Cantaloupe, melons, pineapple, all cut.
Got him.
Second strikeout. All right, here's our Ford right choice. And this is Jake Lamb. His first at bat took a fastball for strike one. Then a missed inside breaking ball. Then he checks a swing on a missed inside breaking ball. Then he comes backdoor with a little cutter. See you later. 4 pitches. And that's the other strikeout tonight for Johnny Cueto. That's our Ford right choice.
And it is indeed Lamb. And he takes high and in. 1 ball and no strikes. On the ground, Belt. And Belt will take it himself. Yeah, Rich Hill with a perfect game. Got taken out. And, you know, look, he's got blister problems. Just off the DL, what, a couple weeks ago? So I don't think anybody's surprised by that.
No, I'm sure that Dave Roberts is going to take some heat for it, but you really can't blame him because of the pitch count. I mean, he's been inactive because of that blister.
Well, they also need him, right? The rest of the way.
Indeed. Yeah, I think he threw 89 pitches in the outing. And you say, well, wait a second, but he hasn't been out there. They may have extended him 9 pitches.
Yep.
But as cool as it would be to throw a perfect game, I mean, you also have to put your team first. And that's basically what Dave Roberts did.
One and two now to Tomas. Tomas rolled to Panic in his only other at bat. And he got him. 93 down and in. Tomas gets rid of the bat quickly. For the Giants, Pence coming up.
That means it's time for the NorCal Acura Grand Slam giveaway on CSN. And Rebecca Winkler, you are going to win an Acura MDX if a Giants player hits a Grand Slam this inning. Go to AcuraNorCalDealers.com for more information on how to enter. Here's our gamers from San Carlos. They were here last night, and they didn't leave. They stayed the whole 5 hours and 23 minutes.
Guess what? Guess what?
What? Hey, the roof is open.
Okay. Pence with a mighty rip and a foul back. Pence has singled and he's walked and he's scored twice. In the dirt. Belt on deck. Here's Corbin. Pence up the middle, and he's got another hit. He's hot.
They come in bunches. When he gets hot, like he is right now, I mean, he can carry a team. It's just the stroke that finds the hole wherever the defense will allow it to be. And he goes foul line to foul line. That's the other thing. I mean, you really can't overload him on one side of the field.
There it is. It is officially open.
Well, they open the roof and they open the windows in the back of the field. Very cool.
Belt with a swing and a foul back.
And the other part about it is it makes no noise.
You're right. Belt takes that breaking ball down low.
Career against Patrick Corbin, 12 for 25, 4 home runs, a triple, 3 doubles.
Belt on the ground, foul. Joe Panik is on deck. And Belt with a good rip.
A lot of hard stuff from the D-backs in this series for Brandon Belt.
Here's the 1-2. Belt takes it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two. Got him.
94 to outside corner.
Let's go to our CSN studio for a Bank of America alert.
Second baseman, Joe Panik.
Nope, that does not qualify. Jim, sorry. You're going to have to work a little harder.
Yeah, let's go, Jim.
Actually, try to get Lasky involved. It might help.
Dig deep.
Here's Panik. Panik takes a strike. It's not pretty tough to see that it's in there for Patrick Corbin. Goodness, he's got a terrific arm. Up the middle. See if it's hit hard enough for 2. It is not. So fielder's choice, allowing Nunez to hit. Nunez is singled and walked. We're in the 5th inning.
He's been a good ad. He's a good player. And you know, they've moved him around too in the lineup, anywhere from 1st to 8th. And wherever Bruce Bochy has asked him to go hit, he has accepted the assignment. And every position in the lineup is a little different, especially when you're talking about 8 and 1st in the lineup.
Yeah, it's not like the American League where 9th and 1 are really hardly any difference at all. Just going to get 1 fewer at bat. Up the middle and a base hit. So he's 1 hit away from a cappuccino.
Oh, you promised him. Cappuccino, if you get 3 hits, he's going to get at least 1 more at bat.
Walk's not going to count.
He may make that argument. I may choose to represent him in that argument. Of course, it was an intentional walk, so.
Cueto knocked in a run with a base hit in the 3rd inning. Big swing and a miss. No balls and 1 strike.
You know, a lot of Latin players, they bring this relaxed calm into a game. And we saw it with Livan Hernandez. We see it now with Bartolo Colon with the Mets and Johnny Cueto. And it's just, they are completely at home in this environment.
Yes, they are.
Completely at ease.
Curveball for a strike.
And you know what? Basically, I mean, you go down to Dominican, where Johnny Cueto is from, and baseball season starts January 1st and it ends New Year's Eve. It's just you play a lot of baseball.
Cueto stepped up in the box. He did get the breaking ball, and that's going to end the inning. Giants strand a couple. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th. It'll be Drury to lead things off.
Baseball on CSN Bay Area is brought to you by the GoPro Grand Prix of Sonoma, Sunday, September 18th at Sonoma Raceway. Get your tickets to the Verizon IndyCar Series season finale at sonomaraceway.com.
Giants Insider Podcast is sponsored by Max Muscle Sports Nutrition, and it is live on csnbayarea.com. You can log on each week and check out Insider Alex Pavlovich as he talks baseball. Ty Block is the special guest, and by the way, the Insider Giants Podcast with Alex Pavlovich is also available on iTunes.
I think that guy's been to the gun show.
Inside. Two balls, no strikes. Drury drew a walk in the second. And a call strike. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
I think that surprised Brandon Drury. You don't see many high strikes from Bob Davidson, and that certainly was one. But again, looking for strikes.
Not that time, however. 3-1.
I thought it was a better pitch than the 2-0 pitch.
Yeah, I agree. Socrates Brito on deck, and then Gosewich. And the walk. Let's go to our CSN studios for a Bank of America alert. Yeah. It's our buddy Jim Kozimor with bad news.
Jeez, Elmer.
Here's Brito, who bounced out to Belt. Swing and a miss.
Good changeup. I think if you have to rate the specialty pitches for Cueto, that changeup is the one you'd put at the top of the list. It's just such a great pitch to righties and lefties.
Hits this one out to Span, who has to move just a little bit.
And that's the beauty of the changeup. A guy swings at a first pitch changeup. That changeup is embedded in his brain. Now the next pitch, you throw a fastball, and even if it doesn't have great location, the guy just doesn't get good wood on it. His timing is off. Because that fastball didn't have great location.
Osowich hit a ball to Belt. Belt flipped it to Cueto covering. Got him.
It looked to me like Drury just got a little foot tied. And with Cueto's move, and it's one of the quickest from any right-hander in the National League. That's all he needed. And an easy call for Gabe Morales at first base.
And the first thought for Chip Hale is, Brandon, where are you going?
Well, you're down 4 runs. That will definitely make a manager shake his head.
I just think I saw Stank Eye too.
Well, yeah, and I think he gave it to Glenn Sherlock as bench coach.
Oh, and 1 to Gosewich.
I mean, it's one of the cardinal sins when you're down 4. You have to be more conservative on the base paths. You have to be careful. Watch the tag from Belt, who's very quick to the tag. And it was not even close.
Buster got dinged on that foul ball. So Bob Davidson and everybody giving him a chance to shake out the cobwebs. I don't even know if that's possible. 1-2.
I was take a look at where it caught Posey, right in the forehead.
Got him, and that'll end the inning. 4 strikeouts for Johnny Cueto. Top of the order coming up. From Javier Lopez on last night's win. It's a game we had to have. Guys are not quitting on each other. That's the most important thing to take away from this. Yep. From the veteran, Javi Lopez. Denard Span is 0 for 3. And he falls behind. No balls and 1 strike. I want to beat this into the ground, but I will just give you the number for Span on this trip. 1 for 30.
Not good.
And that hit, I'll repeat, was the first hit in his first at bat in Chicago.
Well, I didn't see it coming because he really was red hot and had been red hot for an extended time. Ever since the All-Star game, he was very solid, using the whole field. And he said, hey, I'm a second half player. And boy, he was proving it. And then he hit this road trip, and it just has all of a sudden dried up. You know, and with his setup, the way that he hooks that front toe, points it back to the catcher, then drops down. I mean, he's got a lot of swing, checks that you know he's concerned with. And when you're trying to dig out of a slump, I mean, those swing checks can mess you up. But they need him, and he knows it. So believe it or not, that walk, that's a great at bat for him.
It is. Here's Pagan. Pagan's got a couple of hits. And here he takes one low. Ozowicz is going to have a word.
And I think the word is simply, hey, don't nibble. You don't need to. Your stuff's good. Trust it. I mean, Corbin basically has become the long man in that bullpen.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, you don't get consistent work.
Towards the hole, and they'll get one out there, and they turn the double play. How about that? Pagan's not so sure, but what went from looks like maybe a base hit to 2 outs.
I was thinking base hit, and Chris Owings, a nice play with all his momentum going towards the left field foul line. I mean, he still gets enough on the throw and an accurate turn. And with Segura, he didn't have a very smooth transition, but with his arm, he can make up for it, even if it's not that clean going from glove hand to bare hand. And in the end, they get him.
He threw a seed to first.
Nice to have a shortstop's arm at second base.
Absolutely. Buster Posey, 2 for 3. And the first pitch to Buster is down low. 5-1 Giants here in the 6th inning. Posey fouls it off the screen. It's a ball and a strike. And a strike. It makes it 1-2. Giants start out coming to the desert. First, second week of February. And tomorrow will be the last game in the desert. You spend all those weeks and getting ready, and then you come here 3 times. You play 9 or 10 games. And for some of the players, a lot of them that live here, it's perfect. For us that don't live here, we enjoy coming here.
We do. It's a great city, great ballpark, and of course spring training. How much fun is that?
Yeah, plus we've been coming to here since, for me, 1972.
73 for me. Back then, downtown Scottsdale on Main Street, they had hitching posts and they were using them. There were horses strapped up against it.
You could smoke in a bar.
Well, and you could have a gun strapped to your side.
Well, I still think you can do that.
That's the Wild West. It's amazing. You can still have a gun strapped to your side, but you can't smoke.
Can't have, no, you can't. So Posey takes the walk. Here's Crawford. No balls and 1 strike. Remember, a long drive here was to go to Pinnacle Peaks to get a steak.
Yeah. See the old timer?
Now, I think that's like almost now in the middle of Scottsdale.
It's in the neighborhood now.
Crawford checks it. Posey gets up. And as soon as that ball gets in the dirt, man, Buster Posey takes off.
Yeah, he's got good instinct on his first step. Really reminds me a lot of Will Clark. Will Clark was not a blazer. He wasn't a fast guy, but boy, his first step was so instinctive and quick that he would do exactly like Posey would do here. I mean, that's a ball that drops right straight in front of Gozowicz. He does everything right. Not many people take off on it. And if you do, you better be perfect. And he was.
And It's going to happen a couple of times a year where Buster's going to get caught, right? Where a catcher makes an incredible dig out. But he's also going to make it 10 times. Crawford check swing roller. Corbin will spin and throw, and they got him. Couple of walks, no runs. Pinch hitter coming up.
SFN Bay Area is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
Giants 5, Diamondbacks 1. Cueto is only allowed one hit. That was a home run to pinch hitter Peter O'Brien. 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. He's walked Brandon Drury twice. And it'll be Phil Gosselin to lead things off. The Diamondbacks' best pinch hitter, who Joe Nathan struck out with the winning run on third and only 1 out in extra innings last night. And that was the biggest out of the game.
It was.
Tell you what, to have an average that Gosselin has, and to have so many at bats that he has as a pinch hitter, he's having a good year. Gosselin is hitting .279. He's had 65 at bats as a pinch hitter. Taps this one foul.
So what makes a good pinch hitter?
Well, Mike, I think you just really kind of have to stay ready and read the room as to what your manager wants out of you. Chip Hale here doesn't need a home run here. He needs him to get on base. So here a hit is as good as, or a walk is as good as a hit. Got him. Well, Padres are in town, and on the 12th, it's step up to the plate night. And on the 13th, it's Filipino Heritage Night. That's right. We got a couple of great nights. sfgiants.com/special events. Also, it helps if you can hit a little bit. Panic gets the hop, and he throws out Segura, and a gift.
A 1 pitch out. Well, I always thought the toughest pinch hitters that I faced were guys that, number one, were not in a hurry. Guys that were good with the strike zone. They knew the strike zone. They weren't afraid of a 2-strike count. And they were balanced. It was very tough to get them off their back leg. It was very tough to get their hands to commit early in the swing. And they used the whole field.
Owens swings through it. Well, that was a much better answer than mine. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah, it's two different perspectives. One is the guy coming off the bench doing it, as you did. You had the Giants record for a while, and I mean, my perspective is trying to get that guy out.
Oh, and 2.
But you know, we're watching a guy this year for the Giants that really is finding out that he can do this. Connor Gillespie.
Absolutely.
Got him.
6 strikeouts for Cueto. Hence to lead things off. Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Cueto and Bradley. That was the starters. Bradley went out after 3 innings. Cueto still cruising along with 73 pitches. Hunter Pence has been on base 3 times. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
Zach Godley, new pitcher now for the Diamondbacks. He has been a swing man. He's had 9 starts. This will be the 20th game that he's been in. ERA 6.61. Actually has been a little bit better out of the bullpen than it was in the starting rotation. And with Godley, you're going to see a low 90s fastball, curveball, slider, and a split.
Well, that's what you notice. I notice he has the whitest shoes in the history of white shoes.
Yeah, he leads the league in white shoes right now.
Wow. They just need to be scuffed up a little bit, I got to tell you.
Godley, he's 26 years old. He's a big guy, 6'3", 250.
Pence drives one to right. Tomas back out of here. He's hot.
He's hot. Godley ticked him off with that fastball under his chin.
Home run number 11. He's 3 for 3.
And you don't want to wake a hot hitter up, and that is just T-ball location. And again, what's significant about it? He's going the opposite way and knocking it out of the ballpark.
Bell fouls it out of play. Belt waves at one. It's 1-2.
Well, if Godley's thinking, if he swings at one, I may have to throw him another one. Up until this at bat, we've seen a pretty steady diet of fastballs thrown at Belt in this series.
Low and in, 2-2. Overshift is on, and the 2-2 to Belt. And Belt rolls it right into the shift. Segura will throw out Belt. One out. Belt 0 for 4. And here's Panic. Panic got the Giants on the board in the second inning with a double that knocked in Hunter Pence.
Second baseman, Joe Panic.
And Panic hit that ball off his foot. So he's going to walk it off. In tight.
So
1 ball and 1 strike.
Zach Godley walked out of the bullpen. As soon as he got out of the bullpen and took a couple steps in the direction of the field, you started picking up on those white shoes. Now, if you're a hitter, are you seeing those white shoes?
Well, those you might, but usually no. Down the third baseline, that's a fair ball. Panic is going to jog into second with a double. Ever since I saw a game being played by 2 teams where there were birds in front of home plate and nobody cared, nothing bothers hitters anymore.
That happened last homestand in San Francisco. There was a couple of pigeons that were on the infield between home plate and the pitcher's mound, and they stayed there the whole game. Here, Joe Panic inside outs one and just fillets a little slice right inside the foul line past Jake Lamb, who had none chance at it. So an easy 2-bagger with 1 out here.
Nunez 2 for 2 with a walk.
Yeah, those birds, that was a first for me too.
Nunez swings at a pitch that he regrets. It's no balls and 1 strike.
He just set him up.
So Panic at second with his second hit. Giants have 13 hits in the game. Down low, no switch with a block. 1 ball and 1 strike.
If you're going to get beat on a breaking ball early in a count, look really bad doing it. Really bad. Because the worse you look, the more likely you are to get another curveball from that pitcher. Because there's not a pitcher alive that doesn't think that he can do it again to you. Not a pitcher. They all think they can.
Up the middle, hit number 3.
It's going to cost you a cappuccino tomorrow.
Nunez is 3 for 3 with a walk, and the Giants lead 7-1. Cappuccino hit.
Well, I just want you to know he has no chance to forget that, because I will remind him tomorrow. Right back up the middle, and we've seen him do a lot of that. And he said when he first got over here, I like the middle of the field. And once again, he proves the point.
Here's Cueto. Cueto 1 for 2. Cueto bunts through it, and it's 0-1. And the bunt, and it's foul, and it's 0-2. Denard Span is on deck. Nunez goes, swing and a miss. Nunez in scoring position anyway. Stolen base number 36 on the year. Cueto's probably thinking if you'd have done it on the first pitch, I'd have been able to swing away.
Well, if you get a good jump, go. Even with a 6-run lead in this ballpark in Coors Field, Philadelphia, Cincinnati. They continue to steal bags. It's just too live of a ballpark.
Here's Span, who drew a walk in the 6th. Here he takes a strike. Nothing in 2.
Hard cutter down and in. Well, sooner or later, the slump has to end for Span.
Nunez will stay put. It's 1-2. Top of the 7th inning. Good speed at second for the Giants. Godley, the third D-backs pitcher. Bradley, Corbin, and now the 1-2, and it's low, 2-2. Uh-oh.
Yep. Cappuccino, the bet that you had with...
Wasn't a bet.
Well, it was an offer.
Yes.
It was an offer. If you get 3 hits, I'll buy you another cappuccino.
I think I said 4.
No, you said 3.
I'm remembering.
And that's better than misremembering.
That's true. 3-2.
That's good, though.
Three and 2 to Span. Foul. So we'll do it again. Cardinals won. The Brewers had a 1-0 lead, and then the Cardinals just busted it open in the 8th inning. Cardinals won 5-1. Braves and Mets are tied 3-3. That game is in extra innings. Span pops it up, starting to carry. So a bit more than a pop-up, and that's going to end the inning. Well, Giants scored a couple of runs. Hunter Pence goes opposite field, and Nunez with an RBI single. And the Giants lead 7-1. Sunday, in-depth 49ers coverage every single night, and the home of the official pre- and post-game shows of the 49ers. Sunday to Sunday, the home of authentic 49ers fan is CSN. Giants with a 7-1 lead. Cueto's only allowed one hit, and that was a pinch hit home run off the bat of Peter O'Brien in the third inning. Here he's facing the beef. It'll be Goldschmidt, Lamb, and Tomas. So 73 pitches for Cueto. And the first pitch is down low. And a strike. Goldschmidt bounced out to short in the first, and then Cueto struck him out in the fourth. Ooh, just missed. 2 balls and a strike. And a healthy rip. It's 2-2.
You know, one of the gauges that there is in this game is when you see a pitcher go back-to-back against the same team. And it really is the difference between a guy that can pitch and a guy who's more of a thrower learning how to pitch. A lot of times the thrower will go out there, and the first time he faces a team, he'll do really well. That next time, 5 days later, he sees that team.
Crawford. And Crawford will throw him out.
5 days later, a team can be hard on that young thrower.
Sure.
But a guy like Johnny Cueto, who is a pitcher, I mean, it's just the opposite. Because what he learns in that outing the first time, he is going to take it into the next outing 5 days from now. Now, Cueto's last outing against these guys, it wasn't a great start.
So here's Lamb.
But he remembered. And he does. I mean, that's what pitchers do.
And a call strike. Lamb is struck out and he's bounced out. And a shot and a base hit for Lamb. That'll be hit number 2, and he's going to go for 2, and he's going to make it. And that'll bring up Tomas.
Like a little breaking ball, just had a little hang time, middle in above the thigh, boom. And as fast as this infield is, a guy as strong as Lamb, you're not going to have a lot of range as an infielder when he squares one up on the ground. That got to the outfield in a hurry.
Tomas 0 for 2.
Just the second hit against Cueto tonight.
Well, he really wants to stay in on Tomas.
Plus, he'll swing at it.
Yeah, you're right.
I just don't think you can get one-sided to this guy. You got to go outside, inside, move it around.
No balls and a strike. Tapped to Nunez.
I mean, that was a long look to the Lamb at second base.
It was a long look.
I mean, you want to freeze that runner, you do with a look, but that was a stare.
That was 5 seconds. Well, maybe 4.
It felt like 5.
There's a guy that Cueto hasn't been able to throw a strike to. Except right there, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Ooh. He's had pretty good success running that pitch in tight.
Well, and when he's missed, he hasn't missed by much from the strike zone. And I think that was really what his intent was coming into tonight's ball game. He was going to dominate that inside corner, and he has done that very successfully.
And there it is again, 1-2. "85 pitches for Johnny Cueto. Tapped up the middle. Crawford can't get it. It's going to knock in Lamb. And it's 7-2.
Another example of the quick
infield. C9 ground ball.
Just right back over the head of Cueto and up the middle.
Here's Brito. A ground ball and a fly ball. And a strike.
Again, inside.
Cueto left that pitch high. Belt to the other Brandon, and that'll end the inning. A run on 2 hits. We've played 7. Giants are leading 7-2.
Telecast is presented by authority of the San Francisco Giants. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Baseball Associates, LLC.
7-2 Giants. We're in the top of the 8th inning. We have a new pitcher now for these Diamondbacks. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Silvino Bracho will be the new pitcher for Arizona. In 19 games, he's 0-2 with an inflated ERA. And for Bracho, he's got a good arm. You're going to see low to mid 90s with a fastball, 2 and 4 seam type of movement. He's got a hard slider and a changeup. He's got a little funkiness to his delivery.
Facing Pagan here in the 8th. Pagan is 2 for 4. Buster Posey on deck. And he shoots this one out of play just to our left. In tight, 1 and 2. Seven runs on 14 hits. Pagan rolls this one behind Billy Hayes. I think we've seen Billy Hayes enough at first base to know when he is going to go after him and when he's not. And today, not into it.
Well, I think he's going to go after it. The bounce has to come up above the belt. If it's anything lower than that, see you later.
Outside to Pagan.
Really, you know, it's one of those discussions that we have every day. Coming in the Giants clubhouse, you'll see Billy Hayes, and you're going to get an absolute honest perspective. He will not sugarcoat anything.
This is a rocket into center field, and it shoots by Brito. And where is Pagan going to go? He's going to go to third, and that's where he will end up. He hit that ball hard.
That's 3 hits tonight for Angel Pagan. And where he was cool a little bit in this road trip, yeah, he's hot now.
Exit velocity 212.
Well, yeah, down and in, just sweet strokes it. And Socrates Brito in center field, I mean, he's got some good range and he's quick. He had no chance on this one. That found its way to the wall in a hurry.
That's a 3-hit night. I think 212 is going to be tops in the league this year.
Could be. It sounded that loud.
To the backstop. Here comes Pagan, and he's going to score. I think Buster's like disappointed.
Well, I think if you're an RBI guy,
RBI guys,
you got one out there.
They want to knock him in.
And I think this might be a pass ball on Gozwich. Yep, it's going to be a pay B. We think hasn't been ruled on yet. I can't see why they would hang that on Bracho. Easy score for Pagan.
Buster tonight has 2 hits. He's 2 for 3. And he takes low.
Pass ball confirmed.
3-0.
And I think that's a backup catcher's nightmare when you have a runner at third base and you miss a pitch. For Gozowicz, he could have had 4 hits tonight, and that play right there will ruin his night.
Buster taking all the way. It's 3-1.
I mean, he doesn't have 4 hits. He's got an 0 for 2 working, but still.
We knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Posey, it's a very high pop-up. 1 out. And here's Crawford. Crawford picked up RBI number 78 in the 3rd inning when he doubled in Buster Posey. Nobody on, 1 in, 1 out, and Crawford slams one to left for a base hit. Hunter Pence hit an opposite field home run in the 7th. And if you missed it, this is what it looked like.
Well, it was impressive. This is after he'd been buzzed up around the neck. And he goes the opposite way. In a most impressive way.
So he'll hit with Crawford at first. And it's low. Remember, he had 4 hits last night.
You know, there's a lot of guys that, you know, after 3 hits, you know, for whatever reason, I mean, I don't know, intensity. They've already had a good night. Their intensity isn't the same going into that 4th at bat. But you can't say that about this guy. I mean, he doesn't think about it's a 3-hit night or a 4-hit night going into his next at bat. I mean, it's just, he's so unorthodox in so many things that he does in life as a ball player.
Well, I think he's the same whether he's 0 for 4 or 4 for 4.
Yeah, or 0 for 20 or 10 for 20. If you watch this guy take batting practice, I mean, that itself is unique. Every swing that he takes is as hard as he can swing. He doesn't warm up, taking, you know, throwing a few little soft singles to right field to get a feel. I mean, he hits up there and search and destroy. And when he gets it going, like he's got it going right now, I mean, it's just line drives all over the place.
Three and 2. 1 out, 1 in. And he walked him. He's been on base 5 times. So here's Belt.
I mean, you think about his last 11 at bats in this series, he's been on base 10 times.
Oh. He has owned the series. That's ownage.
That is series ownage. Seerage. Dominic Leone, the right-hander, down in the D-backs bullpen.
Belt gets a fastball and fouls it back. And another fastball, and it's high and away. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. 8-2 Giants here in the 8th. Bell hits a high drive into center field. Brito back at the wall. It is out of here. I think.
It is. According to first base umpire Gabe Morales.
So Bell with his 16th, and that breaks it open.
That was impressive. I think that Bruce Bochy was in need of a game like this. They're going to look at it. Fastball, he just absolutely crushes out towards left center, more center than left. I'm not so sure now.
That mark? I think it is.
Did that hit in front?
Yep, I think that's a double.
Well, Gabe Morales is the umpire on the left, and he was at first base coming over, so he had a pretty good angle on it. We're watching it here in the ballpark. This replay review is presented by Xfinity. And this is the one that's going to tell the story. That's a double.
Sorry, Brandon. You're going to have to settle for a 2-bagger. Now I'm going to have to break the eraser out, and that's going to hack me off.
Yeah, well, I got white out here, pal.
I mean, Belt knows it. He's sitting at the leaning up against the dugout rail.
Well, this is the one. I mean, the ball passes in front of the yellow line. It has to go over that to be a home run. So
maybe it grazed the yellow line. That's what I'm going with.
Okay, well, all right.
Unbelievable. It grazed the yellow line.
So now they have to decide who has to come back.
So Belt, who had a pretty good idea.
Well, Chris Hell's going to say, wait a second. Hunter Pence has to come back to third then. If he's going to get 2, and he's going to plead his case right now about putting Hunter Pence back to third base. In the meantime, he's going to make a pitching change.
Now, he's not happy with whatever Bob Davidson told him. So it's going to be a double switch. So Belt's going to get 2 RBIs, huh?
And be disappointed.
So we're going to take a break. New pitcher. Giants lead 10-2. We'll be back. hits than Bill Lasky. He ought to know.
Tree, I didn't tell him to say that.
It's 10-2.
Meanwhile, new pitcher here for the D-backs. Dominic Leone, the right-hander, coming in. 22nd game that he has come in. Saw him last night's ball game. He's got a low to mid-90s fastball, curveball and a slider. We saw more sliders than curveballs last night.
Haniger is now in center field. Panic. Couple of doubles. Rolls this one foul.
Man, for the Giants, 17 hits tonight. And they're not done. Keep in mind, I mean, this is the 9th game of this road trip. 7 of the games have been decided by 1 run. They've all been nail biters. They haven't had a true laugher until tonight.
Panic out of play. Jake Peavy getting loose. Belt at second. There's only 1 out. And a base hit. And they're going to hold up Belt. So Panic misses out on an RBI, and here's Nunez.
Third baseman, Eduardo Nunez.
Here's Bochy's talking to Cueto, and I think he's talking like, you want to hit or not?
I think Johnny Cueto's done for the night, the way Peavy's warming up.
Nunez has been on base 4 times. And this is a possible double play. No chance. Ball squirts away. Belt scores. It's 11-2. And give Nunez an RBI. It's his 2nd of the game.
Well, just too much speed. We talked about Nunez, who got down that line very quickly from the right side. We had him earlier in the game at 4-1. We haven't got the time back on this one yet, but I have to believe it's pretty close to it. And when you're sniffing an RBI, it makes you run even quicker.
Connor Gillespie's coming up.
Pitch hitting for Johnny Cueto, number 21, Connor Gillespie.
So a great night for Johnny Cueto. Masterful through 7 innings, just 3 hits allowed, a couple runs.
So here's Connor Gillespie. On the first pitch, he rolls one to Goldschmidt, and that'll end the inning. So the Giants add 4 more. They lead 11-2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
Postseason push is with the MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and much, much more. Get MLB.com at bat on your favorite devices right now.
Cueto gets to watch when it's time for a change. Things Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and repair experts.
So Jake Peavy coming in, getting us some work, trying to close this one out. For Peavy, this will be the 9th appearance out of the bullpen as he is acclimated. Had a little bump in the road with some back problems, put him on the DL, but he was starting to like it coming out of the pen. Embraced it.
And Gosewich with a swing and a miss. (11-2). Two balls and one strike.
Yeah, 14 years of your career, you're a starter. I mean, you get pretty set in your ways. Now all of a sudden you take on the world of the bullpen, and it can be exhilarating. It really can. It's that much different. It really is. It's just a matter of how to handle it.
He'd like to throw a strike here. He does. 3-2. And the walk, so that'll certainly make Peavy unhappy. This Haniger came in on the double switch.
It is Mitch Haniger, pride of Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and the pride of Archbishop Mitty High School, Mountain View. Bay Area guy. Got a good swing.
Takes a strike. Top of the order, Gene Segura on deck. Nunez to Panic to Belt. How sweet is that?
Now for Jake Peavy, a Cy Young Award winner. That's one of the things that he's always been able to do because of his natural movement on his fastball and his slider. They're both downward biting movement type pitches, and he gets ground balls. He knows how to do it. And here, let's take a look. One hopper, nice feed, and Panic does the rest. And in the end, not even close.
Just looked like Norm Sherry, Mike, coming out to the mound.
Yep, right there. Watch out for the bag. Guys at Cal Poly, we do that stuff, and we take pride in it.
Anybody see that?
Nah, I don't think so.
Foul past Matt Williams.
Learn by doing. That's our motto. Matt Williams, I don't think he ever tripped over a bag, do you?
He might have actually been there when it happened. I'm sure he went out to visit Mike. He did a header right into the mound.
All right, one more look.
This is for you, Norm, if you're watching.
Faceplant.
Nobody saw it.
Yeah, it was Philadelphia, spongy AstroTurf, leaking oil, 2 men on, lost a 3-run lead, clinging to a 1-run lead.
If Haniger's family's watching, we're not making fun of him. I did it a number of times.
It's part of the game.
It is.
Game will humble you. So Roger Craig sends Norm Sherry out. Norm comes out on AstroTurf, a hot day. Just as he gets to the cut of the mound, he stumbles and he goes a belly first slide right up to my feet in front of 60,000 people and says, "You think anybody saw that?"
Pagan's going to watch this one hit off the wall. Segura is going to have his first hit.
I said, "I don't think so, Norm. I think you're good."
Yeah, I don't believe anybody saw that.
He said, "Okay, turn it around. Next pitch, double play around the inning." Best mound visit I ever had.
He's a genius. So here's Owens. Owens is 0 for 3. 2 outs and a strike, and it's 0-1. Buster Posey is still in this game. This is telling me one thing. He's got the day off tomorrow. Just missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. Of course, I thought that today, so I could be way off.
Well, I mean, it's a day game after a night game, and I agree with you. I mean, after last night's ball game that was 5 hours and 20 minutes long, so you figure half of that he was in the squad. Cueto started. He likes to catch him. I mean, he likes to catch everybody, but there comes a certain point in time where if you're a catcher and it's September, you got to find ways to get a day off, and I agree with you. He'll get another at bat. Which tonight, Buster Posey's at bats have been good. He's got a 2 for 4 going, and I think he wants to have another at bat tonight.
Me too.
Been a little bit of a funk trying to get out, trying to put together a good swing. Has a feel for it tonight.
Owens hit that ball that almost hit him. 2-2. And now a full count. #18 pitch coming up of the inning for Peavy. Foul back. A win today for the Giants, and they'll go 4-5 on the strip. And if you can get a win against Greinke tomorrow, all of a sudden you salvage the road trip by going 5-5.
Stephen Okert getting heated up. He will pitch in this game.
The situation tonight, as far as the teams that the Giants are in contention with, the Cardinals won, the Mets lost, the Dodgers won. The 3-2 is hit high and foul and out of play.
You talk about the Greinke start, and Greinke had a real rough start his last outing in Los Angeles, going back to face the Dodgers, team he played for last year. But it's never been that way for Greinke and the Giants. He has really, in his career, done well against San Francisco. So you talk about the opportunity to even up the road trip, go 5-5 on what had promised to be a tough road trip, and to end it with a 3-game sweep. You know, Giants, if they win tonight, they're sure that they're going to win the series. But to be able to bring home some momentum and to do it against Greinke, that's a big opportunity. but still work to do here tonight.
3-2. And another foul. Maybe he's throwing the kitchen sink at Chris Owings. Another 3-2 pitch. Here it is. Segura at second. Got him, and that'll end the inning. So we'll go to the ninth. It's 11-2 Giants. Backs tomorrow, pregame live at 12:30. We talked about the Zach Greinke start. We'll have the game for you at the top of the hour at 1 o'clock. It'll be the final game of the road trip, and for the Giants, it'll be Matt Moore on the hill. So check us out. Here's Span, Denard Span, to lead things off here in the ninth. And Span's going to pick up a base hit. So that'll get him going for tomorrow.
Has ended the drought, and he needed that.
It's not going to be Angel Pagan. It's going to be Mac Williamson. By the way, we have a change at first as well. Kyle Jensen is at first base, so Goldschmidt is out of the game. So Big Mac chalking up in the on-deck circle. Buster Posey did not get the memo that we wanted to see him hit again, as Trevor Brown's coming out.
Well, he's earned the rest of the night off.
So here's Big Mac. And another one to the backstop.
Well, if you're Tuffy Gozewich, and he's had a couple of balls to try and block tonight that are just unfair, and this is one of them. This is called none chance. And you don't have time to get a body in front of it. It's just all about survival at this point.
One and 0 to Mac Williamson. High pop-up foul and out of play.
Mac Williamson was just getting to that comfort zone and starting to feel like he's a big leaguer, having good at bats. And when he's in the outfield, left field came in on a play and jammed his elbow into the ground and really jarred his shoulder, and it set him back. I mean, it put him back on the disabled list. And it took a long time for that inflammation, that capsule in his left shoulder to calm down.
On the ground to third. And Mac Williamson is going to be just thrown out on a nice play. And the barrel of the bat went further than the ball.
You don't see that very often.
You don't. That's a nice play right there.
Yeah, it is. That was a good play. Let's take a look at that play. Playing back, swing and bunt, down to the bare hand. Remember Williamson, he's got some speed for a big man. Chris Oni gets out of the way from Owings, gets out of the way of the barrelhead. And it was indeed a nice play.
Here's Brown. Adrianza is on deck. So Brown takes low. Swing and a miss by Brown. Giants have 2 innings in this game where they scored 4 runs. 4 in the third, 4 in the 8th. They're a hit away from 20. Cueto, this looks like he's on his way to win his 15th game. One pitch. Brown takes a strike, 1 and 2.
Well, I don't think Johnny Cueto could have pitched any better tonight. And the one thing that he was really good at all night long was the inside corner.
Yep, he pitched in very well. Got him.
So fastball outside corner, knee high, and up by 9 runs. Expand your zone a bit.
Adrianza coming up.
For Brandon Crawford, number 1, Adrianza.
Adrianza, a little pop-up foul down the left field line. That'll be out of play. Yeah, that was Adrianza, who had a little bit of time on his hands.
He put his binoculars on. Those are not as good as our loopholes, but hey, he was trying.
It's almost in the same spot. It's 0-2.
That's what happens. Too much time on the bench, it makes you a little stir crazy. You start looking for ways to entertain yourself and the crew.
Fact. High, 1 and 2.
And smiles all around. Well, 19 hits, 11 runs scored. That'll definitely make a ball club feel relaxed, happy, energized.
There's Derek Law. I wonder if he's close.
Well, he's eligible to come back Monday. I'm thinking he may come back Tuesday or Wednesday, but he feels good.
Billy Hayes. Nope, too low.
Yeah, too low.
There's Derek Law.
Well, he's been missed.
He's the Rainey Martin of this group.
Rainey Martin, who was with us back in '83 and '84. One of the funniest guys we ever played with.
Ever. Foul again.
Just had a different perspective on life, and you can say that about Derek Law.
What was his line after he came on with us in Pittsburgh?
I said,
I'm going to go home and crush some pizza.
Well, he was the winning pitcher in his hometown, Pittsburgh, with a whole ton of friends and family. And he said, "What are you going to do after the game?" "Oh, I'm going to head home and I'm going to crush some Frank's Pizza."
That'll end the inning. You got to love that. Sorry.
We need some Frank's Pizza.
Bottom of the night coming up. Right after Giants post-game live right here on CSN Bay Area. You get reaction to this game. Hey, you get a Raiders report. They're in New Orleans tomorrow in an uncertain future for 49ers offensive lineman Anthony Davis. So that's all coming up on Sportsnet Central. So the new pitcher is Josh Osich.
So take a look at Josh Osich. Osich has had a strong year, a little bit disrupted because of a trip to the disabled list. But Osich has done a lot of good things this year. Got a good fastball, mid to high 90s with two-seam movement. Hard slider and a changeup. 3 good pitches.
Here's Jensen. Jensen hit a home run. He's the local kid that lives in San Ramon. And the numbers for Osich. Swinging a foul at home plate.
Jensen this year, 30 home runs in Reno. He was the runner-up to the MVP in the Pacific Coast League. And he added one last night off of Madison Bumgarner.
We got multiple changes. Mac Williamson is in left. Gorkis Hernandez in center. Parker in right. Adrianza is at short, and Brown is doing the catching. So Nunez, Panic, and Belt, they get to go the distance. Two and two. Bumgarner and no decision. Samardzija, his start will be on Monday in San Francisco. And just to the left of Samardzija, tomorrow's starter. On the ground to Nunez from deep third. He's got a strong arm.
Not a problem.
Kind of flipped that across the diamond, did he?
I don't think there's a whole lot he can't do with that arm.
So there's 3 parts of your rotation. Suarez will pitch on Tuesday. So here's Lamb. This is where, if you're Jake Lamb, these are your most important at bats, because you're trying to show the entire organization that you can compete against lefties. Because right now, he's too young to be sitting on the bench.
He's too good.
Young and good, absolutely.
I mean, here's a guy who's not, I mean, he's a platoon player, basically. But I think he's got a pretty good argument to go in there and say, hey, no, wait a second. You know what?
Yeah, what's going on?
I've got some credentials here. I've got 27 home runs and 85 RBIs. 455 at bats. I mean, he's missing a lot of the season. You don't think he could have put up another few home runs, been in the 30s home run total wise, 100 RBI plus totals? Yeah. And like you say, the more lefties you see, the better you get at it.
2-2.
Nothing wrong with that swing.
You see Tony on the left.
Sit next to him, Roland Heeman.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Got him. Here's Tomas. Tomas is 0 for 3. Out of play.
It's great, that shot there with Tony La Russa and Roland Heeman. And what's great about it is Tony La Russa came up through the White Sox organization as a player. Roland Heeman was the general manager of the White Sox, and he gave Tony his first job as a manager in the big leagues with the Chicago White Sox. And when Tony retired as a manager, became the president of baseball operations here with the D-backs, he brought Roland Heeman back in, and he in turn basically gave him a job. I think it's a great story. Hunter pitched tonight, scored 4 runs. Last night, scored 4 runs. Second Giants player since 1900 with back-to-back games of 4+ runs scored. Fred Snodgrass did it in June of 1912.
Down low.
And he has been hot. On base 10 of his last 11 times.
Out of play. Two balls, 2 strikes. Down the right field line and out of play.
Tomas putting up a fight. Tomorrow, the last day of the road trip. A 10-day road trip late in the year. It seems like it takes about 20 days to get through a 10-day road trip. Except when you win, it has a tendency to go a bit faster.
High and deep to left. And gone. I'm betting it was a breaking ball.
It was. A hanger up above the belt. And that's home run number 28 for Tomas. It's an impressive at bat. He fought off some fuzz to get the hanger. And when he got it, he did not miss it. And that is a big boy.
So here's Drury. Nunez at third as the ball flattens out on him, and that's the ball game. So the Giants behind Johnny Cueto in a lot of hits. They had 19 tonight. They have a bit of a laugher. And now they'll go into a start tomorrow as they face Zach Greinke. And they know that they're starting to swing the bats a little bit.
Well, and they know that they've also won a series. And Johnny Cueto tonight could not have been better. Absolutely dominated the inside part of the plate. Something he did not do the last time he faced these Diamondbacks back in San Francisco just 2 starts ago. He had a big night for everybody, and everybody had a chance to step back and breathe. This one felt good.
Final score, Giants 11, D-backs 3. Stay tuned. Esurance Giants postgame live. That starts right now.